HeadStart is an initiative planned and developed by RNID and supported by Barclays. RNID is working in partnership with experienced education consultants from the University of Central Lancashire, UCLan, Sheffield Hallam and Sheffield University. HeadStart aims to encourage deaf and hard of hearing students to go to university. It also aims to support universities to become more accessible to deaf and hard of hearing students.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth Jenkins and I'm here at Greenwich University. In this country, over 700 deaf and hard of hearing people are in universities, compared to 559 back in 1999. For deaf people, there are extra considerations to take on board before applying for university. So today I'll be meeting students, lecturers, employers and people who are considering a degree to find out more.
I want a degree and go to university. First of all, to give me the opportunity to continue my education. I have chosen the subject economics to further increase my knowledge. When I then leave university and look for a job, they can see the proof that I have a degree. It means I will have a head start in life and I can make the progression without the restraint of not having qualifications. I'll have my qualifications and that's it.
My vision is to do something exciting and challenging, because colleges do the same things over again and the subjects might not interest me. Universities allow me the choice and encourage me to focus. They are full of activities and sports and a union that students can join. I am interested to join in all these fun things.
So where does it all start? Some people may have a clear idea of what they want to do, but it is not always the case. Firstly, they need to fill in a form called the UCAS form. This is the entry form for universities. You can apply to up to 6 universities, depending on your choice of course. UCAS is the central organisation that processes applications for full-time undergraduate courses at UK universities and colleges. Each course has a minimum entry requirement. The qualifications you have from school and college will be converted into points, which are calculated to a minimum requirement for the university. For more information on this, take a look at the UCAS website. Applicants are asked to declare their disability on the form. However, this is voluntary and you can choose to inform the institution directly. If you do declare your disability immediately, the university can start preparations for your support, which means less delays when you start. Also, if you declare your disability, you'll be covered under SENDA, the Special Education Needs and Disability Act, which introduces the right for disabled students not to be discriminated against in education.
I decided to go to university because I feel I should study for a degree to get better job prospects. Also, I'm keen to experience university teaching, to see their methods and culture. It is different at university compared to school. That's why I decided to go to university.
For me, a degree is linked with finding a job. I feel yes, I've more chance of finding a job if I have a degree. On a job application, if they see that I have a degree, they'll know I'm knowledgeable and that I've studied. I feel, yes, it's useful.
If I had a message to give deaf students who were maybe thinking about going to university, I would definitely encourage them to think about it very carefully. I might be a bit biased, but I was at university 3 years ago, and I think regardless of what your career aspirations are, university is an excellent life experience. You learn so much about yourself and about the world in general when you're at university, so that's fantastic. If you're keen to go to university, then you'll gain a lot anyway, but it will also put your career on a very good foundation.
I have been thinking about how I will interact with the hearing students and wondering if the tutors will treat me the same or patronise me. Hopefully they will treat me normally, the same as everyone else. That's my concern, but I hope it will go well.
I have grown up in the deaf community all my life, and as such I find it difficult to mix with the hearing community. This is my first time of studying with hearing people. It was difficult for the first 2 to 3 months. I was disorientated and found it hard to interact with hearing people. I have 4 or 5 hearing friends who made friends with me early, so they helped me through. Also, they have interpreter and deaf support there to help me when I need it. The first 3 months were difficult, but after that everything went smoothly. I'll enjoy the rest of my time.
How can deaf or hard of hearing students cope with the communication barriers in universities? Provision of support may vary, but here at Sheffield Hallam there is strong support for deaf and hard of hearing students. I am here with Paddy Turner, Disability Support Manager. Any advice for students?
It's very important to visit the universities that you're going to apply for and that you're thinking of going to, and make sure you ask plenty of questions about the support that's available at the university, because that's very important. Go and see whoever the disability advisor is, or the disability officer might be called. Arrange to have an appointment, and they should be available. And if there isn't anyone available, I would say that was a bad sign, a warning. So get in early and go and visit. And the second thing I'd say, from my experience, is be very careful about the course you choose. Really research what's involved on that course. Quite a few students tend to look at the social side of things at universities, the pubs and the clubs, and particularly if there are other deaf students. And that's really important. I'm not trying to suggest that that's not important. It really is. I think it's a vital part of university. But in my experience, I have come across a number of students who haven't looked carefully at what the course really involves, and have been a bit unhappy really because they've chosen the wrong course. So those would be my main sort of 2 strands of advice, I think.
What support do you provide?
Well, I think the first thing to say is that we'll provide whatever support the student needs. I think that's the most important thing. But we do have a range of support that we've provided in the past and that we have available here already. So we have a whole range of trained note takers, probably about 40 or 50 at the university. We have electronic note takers who use laptops to provide support, and the student can read off a screen what's being spoken. We have freelance interpreters here and staff interpreters, so there are always people available, students to come in and talk to. We provide language support for students, usually done by the interpreters themselves, so they can bring their work in and check it over and make sure that it's clear English. We provide tutorials for students as well, individual one-to-one tutorials. Quite often it's about making up for the kind of gaps and the things that get missed through the interpreting process, or the notes might be confusing. So the students have the opportunity to sit down with somebody individually and go through their work, clarify anything that seems to be a bit confusing, that sort of thing. So quite a wide range of support. But as I say, the fundamental principle, if you like, is to make sure that we match what the student themselves need.
One of the challenges of taking up a degree is finding the money to support yourself. There's the accommodation, food, materials for studying. How on earth can anyone afford it? Student loans are part of the government's financial support package for students embarking on a course of higher education. They are available to help students meet their living costs while studying. Your local award authority handles the first stage of your loan application. Regardless of where you are studying, if you're from England and Wales, you will apply to your local education authority. If you are from Scotland, you will apply to the Student Awards Agency for Scotland. And if you're from Northern Ireland, your loan application should be made to your Education and Library Board. You need to apply for a loan as soon as you have a place at university. The earlier you apply, the better. For more information on student loans, see their website. There is a fund called Disabled Students Allowance, DSA, which helps you with any costs you have as a direct result of your disability. For example, specialist equipment or communication support, such as interpreters, lip speakers, note takers, paleotypists and electronic note takers. DSA is available to full and part-time students depending on the length of the course. Unlike a student loan, DSA assistance does not have to be repaid. So how do you apply? You can contact your local education authority, LEA, or look on the Skill website for more information. Do not wait until you're about to start the course. If you apply late, you might not get the financial help you're entitled to at the start of term. One of the first things you need to do before you start university is to open a student bank account. Most banks offer student packages that include an interest-free overdraft, discount on books, traveller's checks and a credit card. For further information, please contact your local bank or look at different banks on the internet. How are deaf students catered for in exams? All universities can make arrangements for addressing deaf students' needs in examinations. The exam supervisors should be aware of the student's deafness so that they can alert the students when required. For deaf students whose first language is sign language, it may also be appropriate to arrange for an interpreter or communication support worker to be available during the exam. Changing the language of the exam paper may also be required for students whose preferred language is sign language. Additional time allowances may be appropriate, and if necessary, arrangements could be made to take the exam alone in a separate room. Supplying assessments or assignments on video may also be considered for sign language users. Any extra support for exams or assignments should be arranged as early as possible with your personal tutor or disability officer at the university. For the majority of students, university life will mean living away from home, which for some students means having to learn a whole new set of skills, like washing up, for instance.
I'm really excited about leaving home and doing things my own way. I'm looking forward to being on my own and having my freedom, but one thing I will miss is the free laundry and the free food from my mum.
University halls of residence should provide you with adapted accommodation, flashing lights, etc. Make sure you ask about this when visiting your chosen university.
Halls of residence are hard at first. It's hard to communicate with hearing people at the beginning. They have to get used to my voice. Then, as we move on, things get much better. At home, my mum's used to my voice, and then that's suddenly gone when I'm in halls of residence, leaving me a little lost, which makes it hard. At the beginning, I didn't have a minicom, which made me stressed. So I went to the university office and used their minicom. Later, I got my own minicom, and everything started coming together. I made new friends. At first it was difficult, but later everything is great.
I've been staying here for a year and I've been really happy in myself. I've learnt to be independent here, do my homework, wake up, have a bath. Fine. I'm happy and it's fantastic.
A private house is brilliant. All my friends are here, fantastic. It's a really good time. Cooking, sharing food, sharing bills. There's never been a problem with sharing money. Fantastic.
Personally, I like to be out of home. I like sharing a house with other students, learning how to cook, manage bills and things like that, and of course partying.
The National Union of Students, one of the largest student organisations in the world, is a voluntary membership organisation comprising of over 700 students' union from across the UK. NUS represents the interests of around 5 million students in further and higher education throughout the UK. Students' unions are the backbone of NUS and are integral to student life. They provide a broad range of services from welfare advice and information to clubs and societies, bars, shops and catering services, student community action projects and charity fundraising events. Students' unions also play a vital role in representing students' views within the university. For more information,
It's really good to get involved with the Students' Union because there are loads of clubs and societies, and you can get involved with representing other students and helping to change the way that your university works to make it better. So you can campaign for better access, or you can just use your union as a way of meeting other people and getting more involved. And it's a great experience, lots of fun, and it looks really good on your CV as well.
It's excellent. The things I like about being a student is the socialising. That's the main thing. My school didn't have a social side. We were stuck, but now there are more things to do, more choice. I can go out at any time I want. Also, I'm starting to find my studies interesting. I have to decide by myself if I study or not. If I don't study, I will fail, but that's part of being a student. It's good.
one of the best things about joining the university is the socialising. Ask any graduate and I'm sure they will have stories to tell. I'm here to find out for myself. Meanwhile, I'll leave you with the contact details for further information. Cheers.